Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm from the Southwest Environmental Health Sciences Center here at the University of Arizona. And this activity is called Risky Business. Have you ever wondered how risk or risk perception leads you to make decisions in your life? Or how public health professionals use risk perceptions to make decisions for the greater community? Well, this activity is going to teach students just that, the difference between risk and risk perception, and then how those play a part in the individual decisions that they make for themselves, and how public health professionals use risk and risk perceptions to make decisions for their community. So let's go ahead and jump right in and share our presentation. Okay, so here we go, risky business. As always, we start with just an agenda of what we're going to run through, but let's go ahead and jump right in. So first we ask students, what do they already know? And this can kind of give us a feel of what they think risk is or risk perception and how they've encountered it in their lives already. We go ahead and show the difference between the two. For this activity, I really use the Three Little Pigs to demonstrate risk and risk perception because I felt it's a story that most people know about, and if they don't know, it's something that's quick and easily explained. As always, our presentations are as intentional as possible. So to make them relatable to our students, all of the kind of risks that are presented today have to do with things that they would see in Arizona, as we are based in Arizona. Feel free to add in things that are more relatable to the environment that you're in. So this chart shows the differences between what the public perceives as a risk and what is an actual hazard. For us, I specifically touched on heat, how it's not seen as such a big deal. Here in Arizona, we can kind of relate to it being a little bit of a big deal because as you can see, the actual hazard is larger than the public outrage because we know how heat can play a role in how you're feeling and how it can deteriorate quickly. So we have risk versus communities, we have risk versus the environment, and risk versus information dissemination. We really wanted to showcase these three things to show how risk and risk perception play a role in almost everything that we do. And it really has to be considered in these, especially these three focuses, because they affect a large group of people. So next we have our activity. For the first half of the activity, it's going to be scenarios that only affect them individually. And for the second half of the activity, they're going to be asked to start thinking like a public health professional because their decisions are going to affect a community of people and not just themselves. So you're going to need 2 paper cups. For this example, I'm just going to use this mug. It's going to be cup A, and you're going to have cup B. You're going to need some colored beads. Of course, all of the students are going to need to have the same number of beads in each cup and the same color of beads. That's going to all be explained in the instructor script. So don't feel bad if don't feel overwhelmed about it. All of the examples the instructions are going to be there. So you're going to put your beads. For this example, I'm just going to have these 3 marker caps in your cup. So for example, this is going to be an individual one. Your friends are encouraging you to vape. You can either do option A, you decide not to partake, or option B, you decide once couldn't hurt. So let's say I chose option B, once couldn't hurt. Without looking, students are going to put their hand in the cup and pull out a bead. So I have black. For this example, black is going to be yellow. So you don't start smoking. So that's a good outcome for me. But of course, it could have very easily been nothing positive or negative happens, or it could have been my lung function starts to deteriorate. So this is where we're going to see the importance of having those specific ratio of beads in each cup. Because of course, it's going to be more likely for me to have a negative outcome if I chose option B than if I chose option A. So let's go to an example of public health. Okay, so these are community-based scenarios. So let's see, you're working with the city to add bike paths. let's say it's my decision to add bike paths, or if I say, no, we don't need any. Let's say I chose option A. I think we should add more bike paths in Tucson. So without looking again, red. So accessibility to bike paths encourages more physical activity. So that's a positive for me. I added bike paths and it turned out to be a great thing for my community. If I chose no bike paths, there's of course 3 scenarios that could also happen because of that. And next we're going to show, of course, the supplies list is going to be provided on our website as well. This one doesn't have that many supplies. You just need to make sure when you get the container of beads that each student has the same colored beads in their cup and they have the same ratio of beads in their cup. And then of course, 2 paper cups, one for option A and one for option B. And lastly, we're going to have our instructor script. Oh, no, okay. Here is going to be the activity worksheet. So we ask students to kind of talk about, in their own words, what is risk perception, environmental health, the solutions for those kind of things. And then here specifically is for the activity. Students record what their decision was for each scenario, how they think the outcome would be, their hypothesis, and what the actual outcome was. And lastly, we have our instructor script right here. It goes through a play-by-play of each slide. And at the end, we have that ratio of beads and colors for each cup. As always, bear down and let me stop sharing. And I hope you enjoyed this activity.